Well, welcome to our local non-league, and of course, joining us as usual is Gavin, manager of Enfield Town. So, Gavin, you've got to be pleased with that.
Yeah. I think we've, I'll use the old adage: you've offered me that start of the game, start of the day, I'd have taken it. Of course, we're playing a difficult side today, and I thought the boys didn't make that look like it was the case, if I'm honest. And due respect to them, I think they've got players in there that have graced step 3 and some Leaston connections, etc. And I think certainly that first sort of 35 minutes of the game is just blew them away. If I'm brutally honest, and I think they're a really good side. I thought we'd have a tough game today, and the way the boys set about it was brilliant. Was absolutely brilliant. I think if we'd have come in at 5-0 half time, I don't think anyone could have argued. We didn't. 3-0 is a decent scoreline. Okay, second half, being a grumpy manager sometimes, you look at your levels and you look at your levels drop a little bit. It's understandable, if I'm honest, because really and truthfully the game is probably buried, although 3-0 is still a dangerous scoreline if they get one early on, which they might well have done. They brought the big lad on and a couple of headers flashed past the post. But all in all, I felt the boys were in control of that, certainly in the second half. I was hoping to maybe get the fans, give the fans a little bit more in the second half. That would have been great. Never quite got there. Marcus got one at the end, and there was a Josh Keir shot that flashed over. But we still looked in control, and at the end of the day, we're through.
It was quite funny because we was up there, they were naming man of the match today, and I think there was a couple of names mentioned as well. I mean, there's Sam, of course, but then James as well, and then somebody even mentioned you with the amount of work you were doing backwards and forward inside the dugout.
Yeah, it's just me. It's what I do. I pace and I'm up and down the touchline. I should wear a vest actually. I'll probably do about 10k on a match day, to be honest. That's a habit I've got to get out of, but I can't. I'm living every ball and that type of thing. But I think Sam is deserving. He's got a nasty gash on his knee, and we looked at the game and felt that it was probably time to drag him off because we didn't want that getting any worse, that's for sure. And you saw that Josh Keir comes on and gives us another dimension. He travels with a football really well, and he gives us some energy when maybe we were lacking some. So I think it was the right time to do it. Just try and preserve him a little bit with a nasty gash on his knee.
So pleased with that first 15 minutes though. I mean, people upstairs couldn't believe what was going on. It was just incredible, as you said, sort of blew them away in that first 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a fluke. And I'm not saying it's all about me, but we do our own work on teams, and we look at how teams operate, and we look at how maybe what their strengths and weaknesses are, and we had a look at it and felt that was a way to play today. So it proved. So from my point of view, and from John and Steve and the extended management team, we're obviously happy with our work as well. Because I'm never going to throw the players under the bus, when things ain't going well. If they don't do things that they're asked to do, then obviously there's some accountability. But the buck stops with me, and I think it's right sometimes that my management team take a little bit of credit sometimes as well about the analysis that we do and the bits and pieces that we put in training.
I mean, I suppose one downside to today, Josh, but seemed to come off with an injury. I mean, does it look like it could be a serious one, or?
Well, he's packed in ice at the moment. It won't settle down for another 24, 48 hours. It's his ankle. He's been landed on. I think there's probably a slight twist there somewhere along the way. So, we'll have to review how that is in the next sort of 24, 48 hours. But, we've got replacements. We've got people that can go in and do the job. And so it proved in the second half. So, good day. I mean, we'll pick Josh up as we go and see where we're at.
I mean, James Richmond himself, we've got to say something about James. I mean, he just seemed to be an absolute rocket about there today. Just didn't put a foot wrong at all.
He's been given some responsibility. He's an experienced boy, and he's playing with Josh, who's not quite as experienced in respect of non-league, not quite as vocal as what it needs, and it needs that organisation across the back line. People like Mickey coming in as well help that. But I asked them to problem solve on the pitch. They're an experienced bunch. They've got some experience in there, and James is a big part of that. Of that problem solving. So you look towards James, you look towards Scott and Sam Youngs and people like that, Mickey, and think that I've got extensions of me in respect of what's on the pitch, and often they're problem solving without me having to say anything.
I think upstairs we were a bit worried about John as well on his physio John, because no disrespect, it's the most running I've seen him do this season. We thought he might pull an hamstring, and me and Carlos were wondering who was going to treat him if he pulled a hamstring.
Yeah, he's not the quickest on the pitch. We're going to have to try and get him out here with the runners on a Thursday night, I think. But yeah, I mean, obviously Sam's knee opened up a couple of times, and that needed some attention. I think Sam got one in the face as well in the second half. But I think the ref was quick to call him on. You know, and when refs are quick to call him on, it penalises us, because in Sam's case, when there's blood, you have to wait for a break in play or stuff like that. So, you know, but you know, John's working hard. He's had a tough injury list, you know, at the start of the season, which has settled down recently, and he's had to work his socks off, and he's been diligent, and you know, keeps me abreast of what's going on, and a really good guy to have around.
And word on the ref today, I thought he had a really good game today. I mean, I wasn't too sure about what was the red card was, and I don't think he was either at one
do you know what,
stage.
in fairness to him, I thought it was the guy that had already been booked for him. Whether they just look alike or my eyes are failing is probably more the point. But I thought it was a red card, because I thought it was the guy who had been booked, and then obviously he sort of apologised, and I'm thinking, well, don't apologise, because I thought the same thing. So yeah, probably an easy.
But wasn't that refreshing to see though in a game, to see the referee do that, to actually sort of you know, own up, right, I made a mistake, I do apologise, etc., etc. I thought that was quite a refreshing thing to see from a referee.
It seems to have settled down a bit. The first 2 or 3 games was crazy. If I'm honest, it was crazy. There wasn't bad tackles in any of the games, and we were coming off with 10, you know, 12 yellow cards, I think, in one game, and we had 7 of those. And you're thinking, well, how is this? And it seems to be settling down a little bit. Referees seem to be finding their feet with the new regulations and new rules that have been imposed on them, and just employing a bit of common savvy, if I'm brutally honest. And I'm all for it, because if we'd gone the way that we were going in those first 2 or 3 games of the season, people would have been banned, having suspensions by sort of the end of August.
I mean, through to the next round of the FA Cup, is there anybody you fancy?
Well, no, I'd like to be here, if I'm honest. I'd like to be here. You're hoping for a kind draw, and I'm not even sure what a kind draw looks like, because I've been on 2 different ends of that, where you've drawn one of the top teams left in it, and it's fired you to a brilliant victory, and those days are great. Or you've drawn a team that, you know, a couple of leagues lower, that are left in it at home, and you've got through. I won't take anyone lightly. I'll certainly give anyone the respect they deserve, because anybody that's got this far in the competition has got to be worth their salt. So I'd like to be here. I think the fans might like a local one, but you know, I'm not going to be. Whoever comes will prepare for it. 2
rounds away from the Holy Grail, and also as well, of course, Carlos is upstairs saying that, you know, he wants you know, a home game and stuff. He's looking forward to playing his first game ever in the FA Cup.
Well, I didn't realise that. He's never played in the FA Cup.
He said he was interested. Yeah, he said he really wanted to play in the FA Cup. So yeah, he's going to look forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I'd love for the club to get to that stage. We've got hard work to do yet, of course, and you know, it's never going to be easy to do that. You've got to be 9 out of 10s at least when you're playing the FA Cup to reach those stages. But I want it for the fans. I want it for the supporters. I want them to have, because, you know, I did experience it a few years ago, and it's like a 15 minutes of fame. You know, people will be interested in this club. People will be interested about where it's come from and how it's been formed and how it's progressed in the way that it has. And that can only be good for the club, but also for the supporters, because it puts a buzz around the place. It really does, especially if you draw a league club. Listen, I'm not thinking about it. I'm really not. You brought it up, Dave. So, I'm really not thinking about it. Let's see where we are. The next step is Carshalton at home, which is going to be extremely difficult. Peter's got a lovely side down there, playing really good football, and we'll need to plan for that. And then we'll look where the FA Cup is after that.
I think they won as well today as well. So yeah.
Well, you know, we might have them twice in a short space of time, but you've got to give them full credit. So realistically, I'll have a look at the draw on Monday. Hope that it's kind to us. Hope that we're here. But other than that, we're planning for Carshalton.
Listen, mate, we wish you all the best with Carshalton next weekend, and we'll talk then.
Thanks, mate.